I got of making a video with this noise going on. No way. So, I don't know where I am, in all fairness, with the videos on this kitchen because I've got loads and loads of footage that I've been taking as I've been going along and I'm not 100% sure where I am. So hopefully this will make sense when I edit it all together. So what I've done is I've done the easy part of this plinth skirt, and that's what I'm doing now. And it's, as I said earlier, it's quite time consuming to get it right. So I haven't really gone into too much detail on how I've done this. It's all fairly simple stuff. Just had to scribe it to the floor. What I've done by doing, how I've done that is basically taking measurements from the bottom of the carcass down to the floor and transferring them onto the plinth. And you can see, look, I've got some little bits of masking tape where I've done that, and then I put some extender blocks where the clips for the legs go. But I will show you that because what I'm going to do now, I've done this length along here, turned this corner, and what I'm going to show you is me doing this last bit here, which will give you an idea of how I fixed and cut all this lot, but without going through cutting and fixing all this lot. So basically that run there is longer than 3 meters, so we're going to need a join. So what I'm going to do, rather than join on a mitre in the corner, which I can't, as I said, because it's not long enough, and it wouldn't be ideal anyway, because this length of plinth skirting has got to be able to be taken off fairly easily. A couple of reasons, mainly if the dishwasher or washing machine ever needs to be replaced or repaired, but also there's a drain filter at the bottom of the washing machine that might need to be unclogged regularly. So what I'm basically going to do is cut this length of plinth down here, scribe it to the floor, and then we've got to make it so it clips off, leave a little bit of clearance on the floor. Obviously this is MDF, this is all going to be silicone sealed to the floor, so there's no chance of water getting in there, but this bit here will have to be, we're going to have to get some proper MDF sealer, put plenty of coats on that so obviously it doesn't take any water in. Builder's going to leave instruction with whoever buys this house that the floor is to be only dry mopped, which is fine, but it's still a kitchen, so you can still have spills, so we do need to watch out for that. Yeah, so that is the first thing I do is cut it to length to that end post there. Then we've got to scribe it to the floor, but then, interestingly, as if you fit dishwasher, you'll know that you have to cut a bit out the bottom of the plinth where the dishwasher door comes down. When we do that on this, obviously the plinth, the skirting can stay intact on the front, so we don't need to cut that, but we do have to take this little back section off, this top section off, because the door will interfere with that. What that ends up leaving is when you open the door, you see it here, when you open the door you can actually see down into the guts. So what I've done before, when we take this piece off here, you end up sort of refitting it a bit lower so that when you open the door you don't see the guts. But anyway, there we go. Let's make a start on that, and I'll hopefully be able to talk to you as I'm doing it. As I said, I've taken some measurements at different points down that run, overlaid them onto this, and obviously joined them up with a straight edge. So I don't think the floor's up and down too much, so it's not got to be like a super duper scribe. So I'm going to take this, I've got a little cutting station, and you just see through there, take this through there, probably just plane that off so I can get it nice and accurate, and then we can lay it in there and see how it looks. If it's okay, we can obviously put some marks down where we need to cut this top part to allow this door to open. So let's do that next. That fits now. I had to put it in a couple of times and just tickle a few bits and bobs off it, so really happy with that. That joint's going to work out all right there, and it fits over all the way down. As you see, we've got this corner moulded piece on the end here, so that I think is going to make a nice joint as well. Got to cut that down a little bit. So we don't need to do anything with this part here because there's a big, you'll just see in the washing machine here, there's a big sort of setback area of the integrated washing machine that allows the plinth to run across normally. Obviously where the dishwasher is, what I've done here, look, you just see, put a little pencil mark just a millimetre back from the edge of the carcass. So what we've got to do now is take out this top bit and then have a look about what we're going to do to replace it a bit further down, and you'll see when I take it off, I'll put it back in, and you can see when we open this door, you can see right in, it's a bit unsightly. So let's do that. This is a bit of plinth, these are the marks that I've just squared up, and this is the section I've got to cut out. Now the problem I've got is if I just put a square cut on here, you're going to be able to see the raw edge of the MDF, and we haven't really got, although I've got a touch-up stick for this, it's, you know, MDF's notoriously difficult. I'll have to seal it all, and then it's a lot of work. So what I'm going to do, because I've managed to borrow a buddy's saw, I'm going to cut these at a 45 degree and then basically return a mitered piece down. It hasn't got to go down much, you'll see. It's probably not even got, we've got to refix this section just a bit lower down, and it's only about 18 mil. So I'm going to miter that. I can cut it very carefully, so I don't want to obviously cut forward onto the skirting here. Do that both sides, then I can cut the small sections to return down out of this. And I have got another spare piece that's over there that I could utilise a bit more of this off, but there's actually a couple of lengths, let me just see here, there's a couple of lengths of this flat skirting without this return on, so I can always use that and just stitch that in. So yeah, let's carefully do that. I think it's going to be worth it. Obviously we'll make a nice job of this joint and probably make sure that's sealed as well, obviously, because sometimes water can leak out the dishwasher, but we can do that. So let's take it to the saw and carefully cut this. So the slight issue here is that I've obviously scribed the bottom of this bit of plinth, so I don't think it's too far out, so hopefully this should still be fairly square. But we've got to be really careful here. Fortunately this saw has got a light on it, so I can see what I'm doing. Just cut in from the line to start with, and I just take it to the line. Steady. Basically, the same the other way around. Same again, nice and carefully. Right, really happy with that. So what I've got to do now, really carefully take this piece out here. And I say carefully because it's actually, as you can see here, it's actually, although it's got this support fillet on the back, it's actually housed into there. So if you're too rough trying to take this off, what's in there? Yeah. If you're too rough trying to take this off, what it can end up doing is splitting this bit here. So what I'll probably do is maybe put a few cuts in there and just try and peel that out. Like I said, don't actually need it. So yeah, let's do that now. So I've just put some masking tape on this front edge, because what I'm actually going to do is just jigsaw the bulk of that out, and then maybe just the last little bit, that groove, maybe just chisel it out or something, I don't know. So I'm going to try and do this without getting in the way of the camera. Move the camera there. Bosh. Right, let's go. Now it's got tough because we're going through that support fillet on the back. Okay, should be able to break out most of that now. No, it's still a little bit tight, so I'm not going to force it. So, as you can see, let's remove the bulk of that now. I'll just tickle away, I'll do one more little cut through here, and then this should sort of pick out. And just carefully take it out, and then that won't mess that front edge up. So, yeah, then what we can do is cut, not out of this, but I've got some more material, as I said, cut little returns down in here, and then put another piece across the bottom there, and then that should look great when we open that dishwasher up. So that's got that bit all cleaned out. It's not the I might just sand that up a bit. Obviously you're not going to see that, but that will have to be super sealed, obviously, because that's still raw MDF. Rather than break, I've got this offcut here, rather than undo this release it from the skirting, what I've done is just made the cuts in it while it's been in situ, so just a 45 cut that way, 45 cut that way, and then I only need 45 mil actually, and put a couple of square cuts in, and now we should, you see that's loose, that should break out. We just got to release that, so that'll be right. We'll do that, and then obviously this is going to just, as you can see on that small hand, that will then just fix in there, hopefully make a nice neat mitre of it. I'll just show you what I'm going to do here. Obviously this is that return we talked about. What I'm actually going to do to help seal the edge, I'm just going to use PVA up the edge where the corner of the mitre is, and then I'm going to use mitre adhesive further back to hold it, and then I'll put a little clamp on it just to squeeze it all up and let that go off. So that should make a nice strong joint and hopefully be a little bit more resistant to any sort of water getting into it. So I'll set the camera up and we can do that one. Put a bit on the bottom as well. Got it. Nice. Yeah. So I'll just put that clamp on there, like I said. I mean, it's got it, but we'll just put a clamp on there, leave it for sort of half an hour or so. But that's a nice joint there. I may well just take that sharp edge off very slightly with some 120 grit sandpaper, and then we've got, which I've used many times, we've got this little, you can see that, these little touch-up pens are really great, sort of paint stick pen. Just dab that in. It's just, nice sharp mitres are great, but they can be a little bit catchy, so excellent. So what I've got to do now is basically just cut another small piece the same width as this to fit in the back here, which I'll probably put a screw through each end, bond it to this, and then hopefully that should look great. That's all complete. I've actually had a bit of luck because I had a bit of this lighting pelmet left over, which is exactly 60 mil, the same depth as this top section. So what I've basically done is cut a piece in there, screwed it down. What that's done is sort of re-stiffened, because obviously this makes this plinth stiff. But what I've also done is I've got some silicone, and actually you can probably just see I've actually silicone all the way along this raw edge, all these corners I've done. So, you know, you're not going to see it. I wouldn't normally silicone on the face of something, but this is all sort of in the shadows and definitely going to give it a lot more protection if any water spills. So, and my fear is that if I say to the builder to tell the decorator to decorate this, it won't get done. So, yeah, that's looking really good now. So, I'll touch it up in a few places here and there with that little pen, like I said, once this is all gone off. But yeah, let's put that into position and see how that works with that door. Plinths back into position, and as you can see, again, don't look too hard at this because I haven't fixed this dishwasher yet, so it's got to move a little bit, and there's really very little we can do about that shadow gap there, because as you see, look, as you open the door, look, I can't point at the same time. This part of the door immediately starts to go down, so you know, we need to have that completely off. But as you see, if we hadn't put, as you can see now, I'm trying to do two things at once. As we open this now, look, you can still stand up here at sort of eye height. If we didn't re-put, I'm trying to hold it there. If we hadn't put this piece in here, you can see straight in. Now I know once the door gets sort of past there, if you come down here, yes, you can see in the guts, but ultimately, when you're stood up, here, look, you can't. Whereas, can you see from here? I'm, well, sort of stood up. You'd be able to see in. So that, to me, it's a lot of effort, yes, but I think it just makes, you know, this is an expensive kitchen. This kitchen wasn't cheap at all, and it's going in an expensive house. So, you know, we really do. I know it costs a lot of time and effort, but we really do want to make this the best it can be. And I don't think seeing a sort of And I don't think, I see possible to hold this. I don't think seeing a sort of raw MDF or sealed MDF on there really is acceptable, but that looks, you know, that looks really good now. So that's the plinth cut. So the trick now that I've got to try and do is this bit here that I've put on is obviously, I've screwed it down, but I have put it on the clips on the legs, and I'm going to show you how I've done that next. What I don't want to do here is if the customer needs to get this off, or the end user needs to get this on and off, because there's a filter in the bottom of there. Personally, I don't think they want to be having to do undo screws and things. I could just pop a couple of screws in and leave it on the clips and that'd be fine. But once it's come on and off a few times, you know, little screws like this soon start to wear a big hole, and, you know, with the best will in the world, some people aren't that good with a screwdriver. So what I'm aiming to do here is try and leave this so it literally just clips on. Now the issue is, if I just use the clips, just go in the back here, I cut an extension piece, a bridging piece that goes from the leg to the back of this skirting plinth here. If we just rely on the clips that pull the plinth to this leg, what happens is the top, you can see, the top has got nowhere really to sort of sit against, and that's why we put a screw in. What I'm going to do in this instance is, hopefully, because I can get to it either side, I'm going to fix in under here, I'm going to fix a little block, exactly the right point. I'll do it here, here, and I'll do it that side and that side. And hopefully, if I've left these little extension bridging pieces the right length, so they're slightly short, it should mean that the clip should always be pulling this plinth onto the leg, which should pull this top section onto that stop, which should basically mean it's in the right place. But there's a lot to think about, because obviously it's got to be exactly right here as well. But again, if I just pull that off gently, the beauty is here, I can fix a little stopper on there as well, a hard stop, so that'll be in exactly the right place. But yeah, lots of little things to think about, but I think it'll be worth it. It's worth the effort if we can get it so that anyone in the future's just got to pull that off rather than undoing screws and stuff. And you know, there might be a couple of screws to undo and someone misses a screw and they're trying to yank it, and next thing it's all broken. So a lot of effort, as I said, but I think it could be worth it. So these are the little standoff sort of packers that I made. You saw that I just cut them, put a pocket screw in them, and what I'm going to do is I've measured a mark up 45mm, it's actually 50mm, which accommodates the bottom of the leg, and I've also taken some measurements all the way down where the legs are coming. So what I'm simply going to do now is just put some glue on these. Oh, come on, glue pot, come on, don't let me down. I don't know if these are a good idea or a bad idea. There we go, right. Yeah, so just put a little glue on them as well for extra strength. Line them up to my line there, and then straight down. That's lovely. So it's only got a screw, but obviously the glue, once the glue goes off, that'll be super strong. So I'll do all those on down there, and then we're going to fix the clips on top of them. So we've just got to fix these plinth clips on now. What I'm going to do is obviously just screw that to the end of that block. I've got these lovely little 3x30 screws. So literally I just kind of line that up and just in it goes. Obviously, as I've said many times, impact driver's far too aggressive for this kind of work. So just a little, nice to have a little sort of lightweight drill like this, and then that just slides straight over. Because those screws are nice and small, obviously that gets lots of lovely lateral movement. So that's sort of all ready. All I've got to do, as I said, is just tease this I'll just literally just run a tiny bit of sandpaper over there and dab that pen on it, because that's sort of a live joint, so to speak. Do the same on the other end, and then fit those stops like I said, get those in the right position, and hopefully this should clip in. Right, I've got my little block, and that's what I'm going to fix. Obviously that's going to go back there. I'm going to fix that up under there. I've got my little angle drill. Rather than mess about with trying to measure it, what I've actually done is, we know that the top of that, the top of the skirting is 60mm, but we want it to poke out 22. So basically what I've done is I've cut a 28mm spacer. So what I'm going to do is literally put it flush, put that 20mm spacer, clamp it on there, and all I've got to do is butt that to it, hopefully, and because it goes to a solid stop, just screw it up. So I'll try and set the camera up, see if I can watch me doing this. I'm not sure, my head might be in the way, but I'll see what I can do. Right, I've just chucked the camera on the floor. This might be a laugh, mightn't it? So half my trouble is I can't see what I'm doing half the time. The eyes are gone. It's one of the joys of getting old. Right, that's clamped on. That's exactly right there. Here we go. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I think that should be right. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the clamp a little bit further up to exactly where I'm going to be pushing the stop against it, so we don't end up sort of seesawing. I don't think I need 2 clamps. Yes, so now I can just butt this up against it and get the screw in. So you see? No, here we go. Oh dear. If I'm left-handed or right-handed. Right, here we go. Let's try this. Lovely. Yes, that's good. Excellent. Now that stops into position there, exactly 28mm back, which should leave 22mm on the front here. So that's cool. I'll do these other ones. Ooh, we're getting close to the point where we're going to see if it's all going to work. You see my eyes? Look how big they look. Where was I? Yeah, just to put a little stop on here, so that when this bit of skirting butts up to it, obviously it's in exactly the right position for where it goes round onto this corner piece. So all we can do now really is see if it fits. So yeah, lots to think about, and I've got something wrong there, that those blocks want to be set back 38mm, not 28mm, so not the end of the world. I'll cut a 38mm packer like I did last time and just move them all back a bit, and then we'll try again. Right, that's those clips moved only a couple of minutes, those stoppers. So let's go again, shall we? Put this end in first. Yes. Right, here we go. The moment of truth. It's either going to work or it's not. Oh, right. Right, we've got that lovely clipping sound, and that's pulling it against those stops. So that's good. That's good. Not happy with this end. That can be better. So we're going to have a little look at that. Just the joint's good, but it's just not quite flush. But let's have a look at this end. Whoa, dear. How's this going to fit? Just put that there. How's that going to fit? I mean, yeah, just wants to pull in a little bit more. So could be a bit sneaky there. And those legs are a little bit flexible, so I could just push that leg back a little bit. But that's pretty nice down there. What I'll end up doing here, and because it's an open, it's going to be a sort of live joint, I'll just very slightly put a tiny, take the arrows off there, take the arrows off there. You know, I mean, you can't hide the fact there's a join there. So we'll have to sort of not pretend we're going to hide it. But yeah, pretty happy with that. So having looked at why this won't go back, I don't think it's the clip. I think it's basically, you just see here, look, it's just a little bit tight on the floor. So I think that's what's stopping it from going back. So I think all I'll do You see it's nice here. I'm going to just squeeze a tiny bit more off there. Maybe a tiny bit down there as well. Just want to keep that nice little sort of shadow line there, because obviously that's got to have several layers of sealer and stuff on it yet. So yeah, I think if I use that, that's going to make that go in a treat. So that's taken a massive amount of time, but I'm happy with it now. It's all sort of tight back, being held on the plinth clips. That's going to fit in there nice and flush. Obviously, we've got to seal the bottom of it, like I said, but I can whiz that off fairly easily, get the washing machine in. It all looks quite nice. Again, I haven't fixed this yet, but as you can see, as we pull that open, look, from sort of standing up here, you don't see sort of right into the guts of it. So yeah, and that joint's pretty good there as well. I managed to sort of flush it up a bit better there, but yeah, a huge amount of time, like I knew it would be. So I'm going to have some lunch now, and then really quite easily just going to cut this one down and then return it down the end there, and thank goodness that's that done. And then there's only sort of a few bits and bobs to finish really. Handles on the drawers, obviously washing machine in, a few shelves to mess about with, that corner unit, and then oh yeah, these we've got some filler panels around here, somewhere here. We've got these filler panels here, but they're not quite the right size here. So what I'm going to do temporarily for the photos for when it's going to be marketed is rip them down, put the cutter to the top, and then the kitchen supplier is going to get some new doors. So eventually what I'll have to do is just put a panel in behind there, or so when the door opens you can't see in. But yeah, kind of glad that's all done now. Had a joint down. I had to put a joint in this run, but obviously put it in the centre of that unit, so it's sort of not, you know, super visible from when you walk in. But I think the kitchen's really starting to look good now. We'll get all these fine little bits done, and it'll look absolutely amazing.